Hello! Today I am going over yet another add-on pack for the Palladium mod because this stuff is really cool, guys, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But today we're going over the Gravestone Herotime add-on. This adds in the Omnitrix from Ben 10 into Minecraft, and let's just say it looks pretty cool. Now before we get started, just note there may be some controversy with this mod. I think maybe things were stolen or something like that. Whatever, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to talk about the fact that this is a cool mod. It's in Palladium, and so far it's the only Ben 10 Palladium add-on that I have seen. So let's get into how to use this. We have a couple of items over here that we're going to go through, but first we need to get an Omnitrix, and the best way to do that is to use my ultra secret button of transportation. When I do this, I'll be transported into one of the two structures that are in this mod, and this one is called the Lost Plumber Ruins. Here we are. So this is all that it looks like. What we need is up there. Up here we have a couple of sets of plumber armor and this chest. And inside this chest we have a broken plumber beacon, which we're going to need, a plumber pistol, and a blueprint as well, and a bunch of other cool stuff. Once you have the broken plumber beacon though, you're gonna need to use it to create a fixed plumber beacon. So if we look at the recipe using this, we can actually fix it with a quartz circuit from Palladium, an echo shard, nether quartz, redstone dust, and a lead ingot from the Palladium mod, and that'll give us a plumber beacon. Then once you create that, you'll get an achievement and you'll be able to use it. To use the plumber beacon, all you have to do is simply right click. And there we go. I've noticed you do have to sort of walk around a little bit before it actually shows up. And there it is. Here it is, the Omnitrix pod. All right, let's see when we get close. There it is, the Omnitrix. When we get up into it, it flies on and it's now attached to our body. If we check in third person, there it is, the Omnitrix, ready to go. Now I'm gonna head back home really quick because I wanna show you a few features of the Omnitrix before we even get started. And these are all cosmetic things. So if you go into your E menu and you click on this little, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what this is, but it's called accessories and you can just click on it. Then in here you have Omnitrix alts. And this allows you to change the different color schemes of the Omnitrix. So we have the Albino, the Argitrix, the Ben 1023 alt, Black Ranger, Blue Ranger, basically a lot of different options. For this one, I'm gonna choose the Danny Phantom alt because I just like the way that one looks. So now that we've got the Omnitrix, we can hit the V key to pull it up. And now we can see if we scroll through, I'm using the mouse to scroll, we have 10 different aliens that we can turn into. And it's really cool the way that this looks. If you want to cancel, you can hit the V key again. And if you hit V one more time and you hit B, it just kind of rotates the playlist, I believe. But that doesn't really do anything now. So to get to different aliens, you just have to scroll with your mouse. So now I'm gonna pick this alien here. It looks like Heat Blast. To select it, you have to double click your left mouse twice. And boom, just like that, I have transformed into Heat Blast. The models look pretty good on this, and you can see on my right side of my screen, I've got different abilities. So let's try them out for Heat Blast. Heat Blast's first ability is his V ability, which is a flamethrower. So if I just hold this, you can see it shooting off flames and lighting everything on fire. That's just pretty self-explanatory. Now, this fire could get a little out of control, so we can hit the N key, which is our third ability, and that will actually extinguish any flames that are near me. Also, when I do that, you can see that my bar down on the bottom actually goes up. So let me get a little bit more fire so you can watch it. If I hit the N key, that bar just increased a little bit. That is our energy bar, and it kind of represents the strength of our fire and how much fire we can use. So we'll get that up to max here in just a second, but we have a few other abilities. We can see real quick how much damage that this fire does directly, and it looks like it does 5 damage when it hits a person, along with the 1 occasional burning damage, which is pretty cool. The next ability is our Flame Disc, so our second ability. We can hit the B key, and we do a cool little animation, and then we do 7 damage. You can keep kind of using that. It does have a cooldown, but you can see it does 7 damage, 6 to 7 damage, and does some burning as well. We also have the M ability. This one is really cool. If I hit it, you can see we bust out some ground and we're using it to fly around. This is really, really cool, and I like that they added this feature. To get off this, we simply have to... Oh, looks like I fell into the water, and you can see I actually have been extinguished, and I need to get out of the water. I don't know if you can tell, but down on the right side, the energy bar is what needed to reignite. So once I get out of the water here, you can see the energy bar actually goes down in order to reignite me. If that's not full enough, then I'm not gonna be able to reignite, and I need to find another way to do it. Now, we're going to see what happens when the energy bar gets all the way up. So I'm gonna start a big fire and just kind of keep extinguishing it. So we have the energy bar full up. The first thing we're gonna do is actually hit the shift ability for the first ability. So if you hold shift and then hit V, now you're activated your fire mode. I don't really know what it's called, but we're basically a lot stronger now. And it's also changed up a few of our abilities. For one, the flamethrower ability is now a lot stronger. You can see we use 2 hands, we're now doing 9 damage, and it's leaving a lot bigger fire trail. We also have the ability to use a blade. So if we hit the B key, we're gonna shoot a flame blade, and it does an area of effect explosion as well. So it does 10 damage as well as any burning damage. There we go, look at that big area. And it doesn't look like the fly ability gets changed by the ability. Uh-oh. And we can see we just timed out, which means we go back to normal. And the Omnitrix is now red, and we can't use it until it is timed back in. While the Omnitrix is timed out, let's take a look at the Plumber Armor. This is the one armor set that comes in the mod, and this is what it looks like when you put it on. Very nice. The Omnitrix is still over it, which is cool. And when you have this full suit of armor on, you do actually get water breathing as well. So it kind of acts like a spacesuit, which is pretty cool. It's also full armor bars, which means it's equivalent to diamond armor, if not better, which that's really cool. The next thing we'll go over are these badges real quick. There are 16 of them, and they are all different colors. If we look at one of them, you can see they're just different rank. So this is the Ground Force Cadet. This is the Special Ops. You can actually put these on if you want. So if you put it on your chest, it is a little badge right there. However, that does decrease your armor, so there's a downside to that. But these aren't just for wearing on your chest. You can actually place these inside of the Omnitrix, which I'll show you once it recharges. The Omnitrix is now recharged. I'm going to show you how to actually use these badges. So we're gonna hold Shift and then hit the V key. This opens up kind of a secret menu for the Omnitrix. So if I hit the combo key, the Omnitrix actually does a little animation and opens up. And now that it's open, we can see there's actually a rank badge inside of there. If I hit the B, I can extract it, and we have the basic cadet right in there. Now though that the badge is out, you can actually see right away that the color of the Omnitrix is white instead of green. That's because the color of the Omnitrix is dependent on what badge is plugged in. So for example, if we want the red, hold Shift, V, open up the internals, and then hit B with the badge selected, and now we are red on the Omnitrix. The other things we could do is if we remove this badge real quick, we then have a few other options, and one of them is to take out the upgrade chip. So if we hit the N key, this will actually pop out the upgrade chip. Now, there's a 5% chance that this upgrade chip comes in working the first time you get your Omnitrix. In our case though, it is broken, and you can see it says broken upgrade chip, so we can't use that to do anything. To fix it, all you have to do is take it into a smithing table and pass in a nether star with red stained glass, and that will fix the upgrade chip. And you can see there's not just this chip, there's actually 3 others as well. Now, what do these different chips do exactly? Well, let me tell you. First off is the B44 chip. If I first open up the secret menu and open up the Omnitrix, to install this, I simply have to push the N key with the slot. So now the B44 is installed. Currently, what the B44 chip does is when it's installed, your rank badge that you have installed will actually show up when you're transformed. Let me actually show you what I mean. Let me put the badge back in, the red badge. Now, real quick before I show you what that upgrade chip actually does, one last thing about this shift menu. When in this menu, you can actually scroll, and this scrolling is inputting a code into the Omnitrix. Now, I'm not too sure about the codes because they are kind of a little bit of work in progress, but the idea behind it is there's different codes such as unlocking master control or decoupling, stuff like that. I don't know how to get to that code exactly because each code is actually randomized per watch. So that means even if you know the code in one world, you're not going to be able to know it in another world right away. You just kind of have to scroll and figure it out until it's happened. However, I know how to get around this and activate Master Control, which is what I'm going to do right now. There we go. I've now activated Master Control on this Omnitrix. I did do a little bit of cheating for it, but yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Now, let's show you what that upgrade code does. Let's go Ripjaws. Now, here I am as Ripjaws. He's really kind of cute, and you can see the Omnitrix is now red. That's because of that first upgrade chip that I put in. Let's show off what this alien can do. First thing you may notice is I am getting a little woozy. That's because I am out of the water. And I'm taking damage, so we need to hurry up and get to the water as soon as possible. Ah, there we go. Now that we're in the water, we are in our natural habitat. So I can zoom around, I can swim really, really fast here as Ripjaws. And we have a bunch of different water-based and ground-based abilities. The first ability is kind of like a Jaws, so we can do that. We kind of lunge forward and do a bite towards whatever we're looking at. The next one is a swipe barrage. So if we come over to this squid here real quick and just do this, we just pull out our hands and do a couple of swipes back and forth. It's not that impressive, but it does a decent amount of damage. While we're swimming here, we can hit the B key, and that is just kind of like a trident speed boost in the water, which is pretty nice. We also have this N ability, which is a whirlpool. If we hit this, it just does some damage around us in the water. The M ability here will toggle our tail. So if we turn that on and off, it goes from tail to legs, which is good because it allows you to swim faster and you can't walk on the water with a tail very well. We do have one more ability, which is the M ability. If you just hold the M key, you can just kind of stick to walls, so not really too impressive. I do have Master Control, so that allows me to hit the comma key, and this unlocks a few extra options. I can hit V to detransform, and to activate a quick change, or the other button just goes back. So we can detransform back into human form because we don't want to drown out here. And let's actually take a look at the next upgrade, which is going to be the 181. So let's open this guy up. Let's pull out our rank badge. If we hit the M, we can cycle to the next badge, and we hit N to place that in. What this does is it allows Ripjaws to get a little bit of an upgrade. So if we activate this, we can now see Ripjaws has something on his back. This is his respirator. With this upgrade, you don't actually have to worry about him being in the water or not. He can perfectly stay on land for as long as you want. The D03 upgrade chip, when used, changes the uniform. So let's see what that does here. If we go into Stinkfly, it now changes our uniform to red, so kind of like an albedo uniform. While we're at it, let's do a Stinkfly review. So he's got a couple abilities. The first one is a slime spit. It does 3 damage when it does a direct hit, but it shines when you hit the ground. You can see it leaves this little gooey trail, and if we fall into it, anything inside actually gets slowness 3 and weakness 3. The next one is a slime trail, which is just kind of a continuous attack from close up. It doesn't do anything to the ground, but it gives them poison and does a little bit of damage. The next ability is the pick up entities ability. Let's go try it with this squid here. We do this, we can see we have the squid in our grasp, and we did drop it there because we fell in the water. Let's try that again. Ah, that's a cool thing. If you get in the water like I just did, your wings will be too wet to fly. You can see it's got that cool little water animation, and you can't actually go anywhere. There we go. So now we can just pick up the squid and carry it around, and then hit the N key again to drop it. The last one is the M ability, which produces a poison kind of cloud of gas that I assume also gives people weakness again. There we go. Now it's doing 1 damage now that it's updated. Okay, let's see what this tail jab does. 5.5 damage for the tail jab. The next alien that we're going to take a look at is Forearms. Now, Forearms is a pretty big guy here. He looks really cool, and he's got a lot of different abilities. The first thing off, though, you can see he has a lot of armor bars and a lot of health as well. He's not going to be dying to anything really soon. Base, he does 10.5 damage per punch. So he's very, very strong and can compete with a lot of these other mods. And he's also got quite a few abilities to do. The first one is a clap. If we do that, it does 3 damage, but it is a ranged ability that has quite a decent range. The next one is a wall climb. Again, it doesn't really do too much. Oh wait, no, you can climb if you look up. That's how it works. So to do it, you hold B and then you look in the direction you want to go. So in this case, it's most likely up. We also have N, which is a super leap. and it goes in the direction that you're looking. So if I do this, we can see we fall down and land. It doesn't do any damage on landing, but it's good to get up to high places really fast. Our M ability is a rock grab. So if we do this, we then pick up a couple of rocks. And if we just hit it again, it throws those rocks, doing 6.6 damage each. If we hold shift, we then have a few others. We can do B to pick up an entity. Come here, squid. There we go. I got him picked up, and then you can throw him by clicking. We also have a ground pound ability. So if I hit M with shift, you can see it blasts the dummy there. Our next alien is going to be the gray matter alien, which I don't remember the scientific name for, but we're kind of small, we're kind of cute. We do have less health, less armor, and we do have slow falling, which is kind of good. However, it doesn't really stop too much of the damage that we take, or maybe it is. We also have water breathing as this guy. We are able to leap with the V key, and again, it's kind of, it goes to wherever you're looking. So we then have a slap ability, which is the B key, which just walks up and slaps them. Target dummy says we're doing 1 damage per second, so it's a very weak ability, but hey, he's a really weak guy. And for our wall climb, which is kind of necessary because it's really difficult to get to places, especially when you're this small, so wall climbing up these blocks can be helpful. Now for the last ability here, we actually need some blue paper. And when you hold this in your hand and hit the M key, maybe regular paper, so that M ability will create a blueprint. I'm not really sure how to actually make the blueprint. It could be that it's bugged, I'm not sure. Either way, these are the different blueprints that you can make. So the upgrade chips, some of them have these blueprints here, another plumber beacon, that's there, and of course the Galvan armor, which we can put on now. You're basically looking real drippy. And you have a couple of extra abilities. One, the helmet lets you see the info of the entity you're looking at. So you can see these dummies have 200 health. If I go back into survival mode, you can see we actually still have flight because we are wearing a jetpack. So this guy can fly around, and it's got a cool little flying animation, which is pretty nice. When wearing the leggings, we also get a ground speed boost. So we're no longer super slow as a tiny little guy. And the boots give us a giant, or a higher jump boost, and we can actually leap a lot higher now because of these boots. And in case my editing wasn't exactly clear, or didn't make it clear, you need to have the blueprints, which you craft using a Galvan transformation, hitting the M key, and then you're able to use the Galvan workbench to turn those blueprints into these armor pieces. You can't see the crafting recipe without having the actual blueprint. Before I detransform, one last thing about this cute little guy is if you hold a piece of paper and then you jump, you actually get a gliding effect. It's kind of like a slow falling elytra, so that's just a cute little thing. The next alien we're gonna take a look at is Diamond Head. Oh, just kidding. Is Accelerate. Accelerate has a cool set of abilities as well. He's basically a speedster with a cool looking tail. First things first, if we hold shift and hit the first ability, we can take on and off a mask. So to use Accelerate, it is a little confusing. You have to hold the V key and then scroll up to increase the speed. And then now we're running really fast and can use our different abilities. We have the B ability, which lets you just run up walls. I don't really know how that, oh, there you go. You just gotta have it, it's a little finicky, but you can just look up and then you can run up walls like that, which is really cool. The N ability is a super fast punch, so we can do this. Just hold it actually, and it just does a bunch of punching against whatever you're looking at. M ability is a vortex, which makes the things that you caught in your vortex start to fly, which is pretty cool. And M is a tail dodge. Uh-oh. I did just die there, but that's what Accelerate can do. The next one is Diamond Head, for sure this time. And you can see he is red because we have that upgrade installed. He has a few abilities. V is just a sharp knife, so it turns his hand into a sword. If we come down here to test the damage, base it does 8, but with the sword out it does 12, so an extra 4 damage, which is cool. If we hit the N ability, it allows us to use a kind of a crystal bridge, if you will. I'm just holding it here and it lets me go in any direction. So it's kind of like a fly, except it leaves behind this trail. And I don't know how long this stays, if it stays a while. Oh, it looks like it's decaying. So it'll go away eventually, which is good because you don't want to grief your world. If you hit the M key, it does a cool little effect with the crystals. So we'll do it here. And we see it does lasting damage to them, and it's doing quite a lot, which is really good to see. If we hold shift, we get a whole nother set of abilities. So shift V we actually have to have V activate, but hold Shift V. Tool swapping is currently unavailable. What I guess is that's going to be able to turn your thing into a pickaxe or an axe. So there's actually a default left click and right click. So left click is attack, yes, but right click actually shoots out some crystals. If we do that, we can see it does 4 damage, and you have 14 of them before they need to recharge. The other thing with the V ability, if you hold right click, it actually acts as a shield. So you can use a shield and a sword. I'm assuming this will just kind of block all damage, kind of like a real shield does. Otherwise, we can hold Shift and hit B, and this creates a little front crystal. Again, I like that this will despawn, so it doesn't leave it in your world. If I do this, it doesn't actually interfere with the terrain either, so it just kind of molds around, which is really, really nice. Then we have Shift N, which does a pillar, and we just have to hold that, and we just kind of growing up like this. So giving you some high ground for anything that you want to do. And then the last one, Shift M. This one just kind of does a ground pound sort of deal with the crystals. And if we actually go down here to where the dummy is and do that, Shift M, you can see it goes out and does damage. And in this case, it just broke the dummy. So that was Diamond Head. We have Wild Mutt. Wild Mutt is a little strange right off the bat because he has Wild Mutt Vision, which helps in the dark, but doesn't really help any other situation. His V ability turns him into a ball, and he just starts rolling around, which is pretty unique. And you can just kind of hold this for traversal sort of thing. The other ability is B, which is a claw attack. We can see we're doing some damage against this skeleton, and then there he goes. N is a pounce attack, so we push that, we'll lunge forward and do some damage when we land. And we also hurt ourselves apparently, but that's okay. Then we have the M ability, which is a lunge and bite. We hold Shift and hit V, we can do the wall climb thing like some of the other characters can. And Shift M does a spit attack. So that gives you a little bit of ranged ability for attacking the mobs. The next alien we'll do is this guy, who is Upgrade. His first ability is a laser ability. Use that there. It's just a simple laser. It does set things on. No, it doesn't. If we hit B, we go down into a little upgrade mode, and he's kind of flattened and small, mostly cosmetic. The N ability is a ground slam, so that does some damage to anything around. And then we have the enhanced technology. Now to do that, I need to give myself a furnace. So if I put this guy down and then hit the M key to assimilate onto it, there we go. You can see I've now turned into a walking furnace and have different abilities. First one is a little furnace blast. B is a little fireball. N is a smoke screen, which I assume blinds people. And then M turns us back into our regular form. You can also Shift N, which turns your hand into a big fist. We see this and do that. That's 7 damage as opposed to 3, so definitely worth using that. Now, while we're here, we do have the quick change option, which is that third ability on the right. This is only active for Master Control. What quick change does is it allows you to quickly change between aliens. So if I were to pick this alien, and then go in here and hit the N key, quick change is now active. So if I hit B to go back to normal, I can just hit N and hit M again real quick to turn into Diamond Head. That's just a way to quick save and load up aliens that you will use a lot, or maybe load up Accelerate to get out of a situation really fast. Now there are more aliens in here. We've gone through a couple of them, but a lot of them are still in progress. Specifically the second watch, that is still actively being worked on, and if I'm aware, it doesn't currently work right now. So these are the aliens we're actually going to be taking a quick little look at. If you just right-click this token, you will get the new species into your Omnitrix. So if we hit V, and since it's in the second playlist, we hit B to switch the playlist. And now we only have this guy in it. You can see he's got no abilities, but he still looks really neat, and I'm excited for what they do with this guy. So now we have this guy, which is Cannonbolt. He's just kind of blocky for now, and he doesn't have any abilities, but still looking cool. We have Way Big, of course, and he has the ability to enhance his stats because he's so big. Whoa, okay, that's a little okay, that's a little fast. That's a little fast. And we have this guy. So this is the ghost, still not fully developed, but he can go invisible like that. He also has a secondary form, which comes from one of the upgrade chips. And that is the 110.2 upgrade chip. So if we install this really quickly and we go back into him, you can see he is now chained up. If you're not aware of the lore from the show, he kind of goes evil. So I think the idea is that he will go evil in this add-on as well. And you will have to kind of restrain him like this to keep him normal and be able to use him. So that's going to be it for this mod. It is a work in progress, so there's a few things that don't work and a lot more planned to come in the future. There'll be a link down below for the mod, and I'll also link the wiki as well in case you want to see kind of the progress that they're making on there. Now guys, I am actually working on my own add-on, so if you guys want to see that, now I don't really want to say what exactly I'm making, but let's just say it'll be one add-on for all of you to enjoy. Make sure you guys subscribe. See you next time.